Hey, everybody, we are live, episode 14 of the Rise and Outshine Podcast. I've got two great shows lined up, Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp and Knocked Conscious with Mark Puls. Let's hear that theme song and then meet our judges.
We're asking the experts, we're all on a mission to rise in the rankings and outshine the competition. Welcome to Rise and Outshine.
We are live, and I've got two amazing judges joining me tonight. We have Maria Daniels, the one who does all the things, Reset Business Consulting, and the Successfully Chaotic podcast, plus about 20 other things. Maria, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It is great to be here.
So glad to have you. And I know we're going to be running your show in a few weeks, Successfully Chaotic, with the Stacey Price will be joining you.
Stacey Price.
Anything else you'd like to plug, promote, talk about?
No, I think that's great. And I'm excited to hear the shows today. And I've not been a judge on your show before, so this is my first time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Wow.
So we'll get into all the judging, and let's meet my other guest, Bob LeMent, co-host of Static Radio, produced over 1,500 shows, been a guest on 50 others, was on the original 50 podcast by Adam Curry. That list all the way back, what was that, 2002, I believe?
2003, I think. Yeah, thereabouts.
2003. Bob, welcome to the show.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going well. So great. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from St. Louis, Missouri, or Missouri, depending on what your attitude is toward the state, I guess.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Anything else? Did I miss anything in the intro?
No, it sounded pretty good to me. I wish I would have wrote it all down. Now I'm going to have to take notes.
Well, let's meet our judges. Bob LeMent, staticradio.com, Maria Daniels, Reset Business Consulting. All those links will be in the show notes. Let's meet our shows. We have Genesis Amaris Kemp of the Gems podcast and Mark Sean Puls of Knocked Conscious. And we've got a great lineup. Both of these shows very engaging, interesting. You have a lot coming your way if you're watching at home. And one of the things we do on this show is it's interactive with the people watching at home. And so Genesis is going to go first with her podcast, Gems. And everybody right now, you can go on, you can either scan the QR code if you're watching on a desktop or laptop, or go to menti.com and type in this code at the end here. You'll see it scrolling on the bottom. Everybody is going to be able to give feedback in real time to Genesis. And we're going to base it on these 5 criteria: audio quality, engaging hosts, quality of content, does the content match expectation, and the production quality. And then after that, we're going to help her build a word cloud, just a stream of conscious. You're going to add some words that you felt while you were listening to Genesis' show, Gems. You know, was it enlightening, inspirational, anything that you can think of? Just add that, type it in there. And then at the end, we're going to see all the words that everybody added during the show. And it gives a nice little picture of, you know, what are people experiencing when they're at home. And without further ado, we'll go to our first podcast tonight, which is Genesis with the Gems podcast. Welcome to the show.
Hey everyone, good evening. I'm super excited to be here with y'all. So a little bit about the
We know, just to set the stage for Genesis, you are muted right now, but there's a wandering toddler in the background. So that is not part of the scoring criteria tonight. So anything that happens in that regard, we're here for Genesis and to support her show, Gems. So go ahead, Genesis.
Rewind. Okay. Hey everyone. Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here with y'all tonight. I like to focus my show on 3 core pillars rather than niching down. So the core pillars are to educate, inspire, and motivate, while also weaving in DEI and B, which is my personal favorites, which are diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I started my show strictly out of the grief journey for losing my father in 2020 to medical negligence. And it quickly transformed from just me talking about grief, talking into the mic by myself, into interview styles, only because so many people were probing at me interviewing them. And I'm like, no ham, no cheese, no turkey. I am not interviewing anyone right now, but I'll get back at you. Because I was like, I don't know anything about podcasting. And then it quickly morphed into other CEOs paying me to host their show. So I was working for a company called Up My Influence, and there was different CEOs that hired me to host their show and interview their guests. And then I was like, if I could do that for other people, I might as well do it for myself, right? So hence Gems. The name Gems is because I feel like we all have incredible gems to share with other people in the world. No matter what your background is, there's something valuable that you have either learned or you could teach other people. So that's a little bit about Gems. I like to keep it 30 minutes coffee chat style because I'm like, it's like a Rachel Ray meal. You could cook something in 30 minutes, eat something in 30 minutes. Why not pop in your earbuds and listen to some content in 30 minutes and feed your mind, body, and soul? Yeah.
Sounds good. We are about to hand the main stage over to you, Genesis. And real quick, just to go back to the scoring, I want to stress that 5s are what we're looking for. If the audio quality, the host is engaging, if the quality of content all meets your expectation, that's just a 5. And a 5 is okay on this scoring scale. Now, if she sounds a little bit better, maybe it's a 6 or a 7. Or if the audio quality goes in and out, or, we call that Gilberting back in the Blab days, you can maybe make it, maybe that's a 4. And this is just to get a range to see where she's strongest at and where she's weakest at, and some things to work on and take notes in the future. So, start with 5. 5 is your baseline. And without further ado, Genesis, if you are ready, we're going to give you the stage.
Okie dokie. So I'm going to do some ad hoc here, and then we could jump to one of my episodes on YouTube so y'all can see how I really do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to randomly pick either Jeff or Maria, or y'all both could do it. And we're going to do an impromptu show of Gems podcast. It's going to be a little bit different because I don't have your bio in front of me. And the only thing that I do on my show that is scripted is reading someone's bio, because I don't look them up beforehand, because I don't want anything to sound like, I'm just reading it. So I'm going to go with ladies first, and I'm going to do Maria. So Maria, welcome to Gems Podcast. I want you to tell me a little bit more about yourself, since I don't have your bio in front of me.
Absolutely. So I'm Maria Daniels. I am the mom of 7 kids, which is usually what most people remember about me. So the toddler in the background, I've been there, girl. That completely fine. We can do the mom thing and business and all the things. But I do have several small businesses, and I'm a podcaster, and my show is called Successfully Chaotic.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, and welcome to Gems Podcast. One of the things I like to do is allow you to connect with the guests in a fun and personal manner. So we could do that by either playing a rapid 10-question game called Rapid Fire, or an icebreaker. What are you in the mood for?
You know what? I'm terrible at questions, but go ahead. Let's do the questions.
Okie dokie, y'all. We're playing Rapid Fire with Maria and Genesis. Do. Question number 1. What is one word to describe you?
I would say impulsive.
Question 2. If you had the opportunity to trade places with anyone for 24 to 72 hours, would you trade places or remain yourself?
I would remain myself.
Question 3. What is your drink of choice? Coffee, tea, or something else?
Depends on my mood, but coffee typically.
Question 4. You get 3 random acts of kindness to do per day, but let's not limit it to 3. What are your 3 for today?
Random. Gosh, that makes it hard. So I guess it would be pay ahead, give somebody a compliment, and I don't know. Why is this so hard to think of? We'll just say give somebody another compliment, because I can't think of anything else.
Okay. 5. Name one crazy thing you've done in your life, but it actually built character.
Oh, Lord. Where do I start? One crazy thing that built character. So I guess one of the crazy things that I did at the time it ended up being really terrible because I had to whistleblow on a public company, which was probably one of the most terrifying times of my entire life. But it taught me so much about myself, my strength, and also that I'm always willing to do the right thing, even if it's terrifying.
Love it. See, you're learning more about Maria, y'all. 6. What is one place you would go if money was no option?
Somewhere warm. I am in Ohio right now and it's cold and I'm not loving it. So anywhere warm.
Okay. Question 7. If you had the opportunity to have lunch or dinner with anyone, past or present, who would it be and why?
It would be my grandma. She passed away in 2018 and we were really, really close.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. 8. What is your type of pastime?
Sleep. I'm a mom. I need my sleep.
So 9. As a mom to 7 lovely bambinos, what is one piece of advice you would share with the new parent?
I would say that don't be so hard on yourself about everything. That, when you first start out, you have all these ideas on how you should do everything. And it's really, a lot of it's not that serious. I figured that out throughout my kids, the things that were important to really focus on and the things that wasn't a big deal.
Love it. And question 10, numero 10, y'all. So it is our pass or play question, and here are the rules. If you pass, our roles are reversed, and you could ask me a question. If you choose to play, I ask one last question to wrap up rapid fire. So are we passing or playing?
I'll go ahead and play.
Okay, last question. The world is your oyster, and you're now traveling back in time in a time machine. Where are you headed?
Wow, that's okay. I guess maybe ancient Egypt. I'm really into ancient, like, archaeology and all that stuff, and I would really like ancient Egypt, I think.
I love it. And there you have it, Gemsters. You just heard Maria dominate rapid fire. Now we're going to segue into more of the things that she's working on. We all know she's the host of Successfully Chaotic. So Maria, how are you successfully chaotic and managing?
Some days I'm not managing. I think that's the key, right? Is one of the things that I say all the time is that we're all defining our own version of success. And that's been my life journey as well. I mentioned earlier that I had to whistleblow on a public company. That was actually kind of the beginning of me figuring out what was for me and what wasn't for me. I did not enjoy the big business. I didn't enjoy that side of things. And I started redefining what my own version of success was. And we all do that, right? We all define what our own version of success is every single day. And life's full of chaos. Life throws different crazy things our way, and some's okay and some's terrible. And the idea is to just try to find the best of every day while we're trying to define our own version of success.
I love that, because it is true. Like, each one of us has our own version of success, and it's going to look different, but it should be tied to our ethos and why we are living, why we are existing, not looking at, oh, I see Maria over here doing this, she's successful, because that success may not equate to your goals and your visions that you have for yourself, and that's perfectly okay. But the minute that you try to operate and dominate in her space, then you are really being successfully chaotic, because you're trying to take on someone else's success, and then you're creating chaos because those aren't part of your zone of genius and your way of owning it. So audience, whenever you think about what Maria just said and you think about successfully chaotic, I want you to think of a time in your life where you have experienced chaos. And was it chaos that you caused upon yourself, or was it truly chaos in the environment that you were in? And then drop it in the comment and let's interact here. And guys, I'm going to stop right there because I don't want to be long-winded, but that's kind of the gist of the show. And then I jump into a CTA section, which is the call to action section. And I always ask my guests to give the audience homework, because what good is consuming the information if you're not going to take what you have consumed and apply it to the betterment for yourself, and then also rinse and repeat and share that knowledge out with someone else. So during that section, we do homework. I have them drop their links so people know how to connect with them and get inside their funnel, their ecosystem, and etc. And then I close out with my call to action, which is, follow the show, leave a comment, let me know what you like, what you don't like, because hey, that's how I'm gonna grow, because feedback is a gift. You take what applies and build upon it, and what doesn't apply, I like to say, stick it in that back pocket for later when I need to go make withdrawals out of the deposits that you made. And then if you guys want to pull up and see a quick segment of me doing it in video with someone, you can head on over to my YouTube channel, where I do have videos of what I record on my podcast, and then everything else is on 40 plus audio platforms. And I've been podcasting for 3 years now, since my dad passed.
Awesome. Well, great show. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I guess Jeff will buzz me down if I'm not, but I thought it was a good show.
Thank you. I don't know if y'all could pull up a show and like really kind of see it, because it's really funny whenever you do it with someone else, because they never know what's going to come next questions wise, because I just randomly pick the questions and then I somehow weave it into the conversation, because I want them to really go on a journey with me as I'm learning more about the guest. So we're doing it together.
I think it's funny. Anytime I have done any type of rapid fire questions, and you think answering questions about yourself is easy, but all of a sudden it's like everything that you've ever known falls out of your head, or me at least. Everything I've ever known falls out of my head. I'm like, I can't think of anything. But that was fun. I enjoyed it. I think it's very interactive, and I thought it was great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Jeff, Mark, where you at?
Wow, I almost had a disaster. My computer completely froze. I was gone for a couple of minutes. Let me bring everybody back in. We do have scores rolling in.
Yeah, I guess you texted me. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, you stalled perfectly.
That's good.
So let's go ahead. Let everybody at home go ahead and get your last minute votes in for gems. Go to menti.com. Enter 1302-9430. That's only available during this live stream. So you can only vote while we're live. And let's go to our judges. I mean, Maria was on the show, which I didn't know or expected that was going to happen. So Maria, as a judge, you do get to give some feedback, and you got pulled into it onto the main stage. Yeah. What was your experience interacting, answering the questions? How was the hot seat?
Well, I don't do well with hot seats anyway. I like go like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna have to answer? But I thought it was fun. Like, I really did. I thought it was a fun show. I thought she did a great job asking questions, even if half the time I don't know how to answer questions. That's not her fault. That's my fault. I thought she did a really great job, and I like her personality, which is always great. It's great listening to a show where somebody has a good personality. So no, I thought it was great. You're muted.
You're muted, Jeff.
I think he said Bob's. I was just
and Bob.
Yeah, I think it was a Bob. Those are the kind of things you can, even if you don't read lips, Bob seems to be one of those things. Not that you could read my lips, given a cartoon lips and all, but Genesis, I thought you did a great job interviewing. It was fantastic. It was fun. I would say, I think a lot of your personality came through, but I think more could come through, oddly enough, even though it sounds weird to say that. Even though I had trouble with my microphone earlier, I would say you probably could go with if you had another microphone other than I don't know if you're just using your headphones or the laptop mic. It probably would suit you to have an external microphone that you can get closer to you, because then your room noise is a little hollow, and it'll kind of bring that in a little bit, so it sounds a little bit better. But otherwise, I mean, as far as delivery and stuff, you got going, and I thought you kept it going, and it sounded really good. And I liked the way you threw Maria with those questions, and it's always good as an interviewer to keep your interviewee on their toes.
And I'm a good one to keep on their toes. I typically have no idea. Like no idea. You ask a question about me, I'm like, wait, do I know that? Do I know that?
she couldn't come up with number 3, so she just repeated number 2. So,
well, here's the thing. I'm sitting there thinking, wait, what are the rules? So that's how my brain works. Like, wait, I need parameters. I'm a planner. I need parameters. Like, what's the rule? So my brain automatically goes, wait, can we say like coats? Are we allowed to build houses for people? Like, what's the rules here?
I thought you were going to say location.
I don't know what I was going to say. I was like going everywhere and I panicked and just repeated. So that's how if you interview me, that's what you get. It's not good.
And
you
so
did
Mark,
fine, Ray. I'm just teasing. I got to tease you harder than I did.
yeah, the judges do have that's the real unwritten rule of the show is actually the judges are here to battle.
That's right.
And,
I'm
Mark,
mad because you whistle blew on my company, Maria.
Oh no, it wasn't your company, thankfully.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had a company. Come on.
You don't want that one, trust me. That's
Probably not.
Enron? Is that what it was?
No, it wasn't Enron.
And last minute votes coming in for the Gems podcast. You can also connect with Genesis Amaris Kemp.net. It's the Gems podcast, and the links are all there on her website there. And Mark, you were also backstage listening, also one of the judges. What was some of your takeaways?
Very much so. I was very much engaged, so that was excellently done. I am an audio person, so like Bob said, possibly work, but I did see a Yeti mic. Was that a Yeti over there I saw?
I have a J Lab. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, it looks cool. I saw it looked pretty good there. So a really easy hack is to grab some foam and just spray like particle board or like even thick cardboard, put some thing behind you to help just absorb the audio reflection. Real simple things that you can do, but the show on a content level was really well done.
Very good. So Genesis, are
Thank you
ready to see those scores?
I'm ready to rumble.
Well, let's go to that scoreboard. We had, look at this, 5.4 across the board. And you can see, and what I like about the way that this scores, if you look at audio quality, came in at 5.2, you skewed a little bit over the average. But if you look at the blue behind it in the background, that's how the votes came in. So some of the things that the judges were saying were, okay, audio quality, get closer to the mic, the room echo. You can see that in the blue scoring where the blue, while you did average 5.2, it did skew a little bit to the left, and audio quality is something that you would want to take a look at going forward. But look at engaging hosts. You see how the pink really skews to the right? Well, you were really exceeding expectations on the engaging host. The quality of content skewed almost right in the middle at 5. The content matching the expectation, 5.8. So everybody liked what they were getting. And the production quality, again, this is a live environment. So I tell people, take it with a grain of salt. You're not used to doing a live show on the spot, with 10 minutes with no guests. You just showed up and did a show, which is amazing. Let's go to that word cloud. Let's see how we had 11 votes come in there. And let's see what people were saying. All these words were just stream of conscious thoughts that people thought while they were watching. Hardworking, improvise, kind, engaging, rapid fire. Someone liked your question strategy, the 10 questions. Gem is outrageously, truly. I like that. Funny, connecting, honest, high energy, sincere. Great host. So seeing these scores now, Genesis, and seeing this word cloud, you got 30 responses on the word cloud. How you feeling about this kind of feedback?
I'm feeling pretty good. I would have loved to see the ranking score a little bit higher, only because I'm competitive by nature, and that's more so my corporate side. I spent 12 years in oil and gas, which is a no-nonsense field, male-dominated, and now I'm in healthcare, hence the scrubs. So I've been in a lab today with a human cadaver, so...
Well, a 5 is a very good score. And you were over 5. So the highest we've ever had is a 5.6 or a 5.7 out of 8 or 10 shows. And that's what we want. We want to be somewhere where we have a scale to work from. And so you're scoring with, the best podcast that we had on the show so far. So don't think a 5.4 is failing, because on this show that is a very good, honest score. No, don't cry.
That's a good score. And you were really engaging and energetic. I'm surprised you're this energetic. It's 8:31 p.m. here where I'm at. I don't know where you're at, but I'm like over here like I'm sliding down in my chair about to fall asleep, and you're off. So I mean, you did great.
Oh, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
So and Genesis, how can we connect with you? Let's give your links, and I'm gonna make sure I get all that into the show notes. What's the best way people can reach out, connect with you, find you, listen to your podcast?
So you could definitely slide into my DMs on IG, which is Genesis Amaris Kemp, my name. Same on TikTok as well as Facebook. Head on to my website, which is genesisamarisKemp.net. It has all the info there. And then a lot of listeners like to listen to me on Apple Podcasts, which is the name of the show, Gems with Genesis Amaris Kemp. But for those of you who aren't Apple people, there are 40 plus platforms for you to choose from. So
Oh, Genesis, this was amazing. Thank you so much. Now, please stick around, because now you get to turn the tables and get to judge Mark. And Mark, welcome to the hot seat. How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. You have a show called Knocked Conscious. And for everybody who's going to be watching at home and like to vote along with Mark's show, Knocked Conscious, go to menti.com, type in that code that you see at the bottom, and you'll get the same type of scoring that you saw for Genesis. Go ahead and
except
go there
probably
now.
lower.
Well, let's find out.
I'm sure you'll do great.
No,
Let's set the stage, Mark. Tell us a little bit about your show, and we're going to set up a clip to watch here tonight. What are we going to see? Tell us about the show and what we're about to witness.
Yeah, so the not conscious concept came from an experience I had. I was just turned 40 years old and life wasn't feeling great, so I sought some help. Talked to someone, had a very unique paranormal experience that I still try to explain, and it's happened and increased since. So at that moment I was knocked conscious. So I'm infinitely curious, so I will talk to anyone about anything. I've had Michael Jackson's nephew on to talk about the allegations. I've had the person who took the first ever picture with the Hubble telescope on. I've had pretty cool. I'm very lucky. Next week, at the end of the week, I'm actually speaking with a presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party. So I've been very blessed. And what I found in this community is all you need to do is just ask. And even the most popular people are kind in general. And I love that you reached out, because when you reached out, I'm not generally on this side of the microphone. I'm the one asking questions. 30 minutes for your whole show is the intro of mine. I do 4-hour shows.
Oh, wow.
You have a headache by the time you're walking out. So, but they're generally they're between 2 and 4 hours generally. This one, if I may set up this current clip, just happened to be that I had this conversation set up before you reached out, Jeff. It's with the lead singer of Wheatus. You may know the song Teenage Dirtbag. It's gone viral on TikTok. It's got like 2 billion downloads. It was big when I was growing up, and he was born like a year before me. So we're very familiar with our backgrounds. What I chose about this clip is I didn't want to clip the hour and 45-minute conversation a little bit. So I just want to take a 10-minute story, just clip it and be done with it. But what just recently came out is there was a Wall Street Journal story about Taylor Swift. And it's something about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, her boyfriend, singing Teenage Dirtbag at a bonfire or something the week before I talked with him. So I thought I'd just ask him about it. And you think about Wheatus, his favorite bands are like AC/DC and Iron Maiden. And we're going to talk about Taylor Swift. And then other bands come up. And you think, like, is he going to be positive towards the art? How's he going to treat these different artists? And it's very interesting watching how different people treat different artists. And I thought it was kindly refreshing to watch how he spoke of this story. So 10-minute clip, and that's about it.
Well, Let's get right to it. This is Not Conscious. Go down to menti.com at the bottom of the screen. You can do all your voting. This is a 10-minute clip. Very exciting. I've already previewed it. So here we go. Knocked Conscious.
Let's talk about something fun.
Sure.
What happened? What's going on with this? I just saw a repost of a Rolling Stone article with, was it Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and their favorite song? Is this?
We don't know
Is
that
this
it's
what I
their
hear?
favorite song. The tabloids, and I'll take that with a grain. So first of all, I should preface this by saying I think that people talk about Taylor Swift in a way that they should shut the up. All right.
Yes.
Your girl saved the music industry by herself. She created more value in the touring and record streaming businesses.
And made
than
more
there
money for
would have-
Ticketmaster, by the way. I've got a bone to pick with them, but whatever.
Yeah, everybody
Anyway.
does. But we're talking about one lady here who has managed to flip the script on the overseers and the gatekeepers and turn it into whatever she says, they'll do. That's unheard of in the history of music. Beyonce is another one who has done a similar piece of work, right? You've got,
but in a crossover realm too, because I don't even think the numbers are the same.
I think that they, I
As
think that
huge
they're,
as Beyonce is.
yeah,
Maybe
I think-
globally, maybe internationally.
I think
but-
they're comparable in terms of their impact on just straight up
culture.
like we were talking
sure.
about the music industry being dead 15 years ago and it was over and it's blah blah blah. These two people have single-handedly rescued the whole entire operation.
Right.
And they've done it artistically, originally. They have wrestled control back from people who had never ceded an inch of control to artists ever. So they rewrote the landscape, those two. And yeah, you've got Springsteen and you've got a few male pop artists, but you've got to stop and say nobody's done what these two have done. Nobody has done that. It's novel, it's incredible, and it's saved the whole entire business. And when you're talking about music industry, if you're talking about a stadium show like Beyonce or Taylor Swift are going to do, you're talking about thousands of truck drivers. You're talking about concessions people. Like, you don't want to know how many people stay home and don't get a paycheck when they cancel one of those.
I heard the number of the revenue generated, and it was astonishing. I don't even remember the number, but it was ridiculous.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's like, you know, I saw a figure the other day that Disney holds down only 5% of the Florida economy. But then I did a little digging a little deeper, and it was like, you're talking about the immediate employees. But hold on.
No, there's a trickle. There's hotels and reservations,
flight
and restaurants.
attendants, truck drivers, concession people, food people. It's like you're talking about subtracting 25% of the state GDP if you get rid of Disney.
It's
right?
bad.
And
Yeah,
so I think Taylor and
impactful,
Beyonce are like that, comparable in the music industry, maybe even more. So that's I'll say first. And the way that they talk about her personal life is just way overbood. Like you know.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't listen too much to the person.
I know who the f in their right mind would, right? Because it's like, what are you talking about? Somebody like this? Like,
I was just trying to figure out a name for them. I think it's Swelzy or
No.
Swelsey.
Yeah, I don't. That's whatever. I don't mind. But you know, there's been a lot of talk. But anyway, so back to the fun. She and her apparently new relationship guy. I don't know his name. I don't know a lot about football. I'd be lying if I said I did.
His name is Travis Kelce, and I'm happy to share that with you. But I also don't know that much about football either. So.
Got it. Yeah. So we're on the same team, I guess. But they got drunk and sang Teenage Dirtbag around a fire pit somewhere, and he relayed that story as part of their arc of their relationship. Now that news story broke on Us magazine and the Daily Mail today, and I saw it because they put Teenage Dirtbag in the headline. So it's like, you know, shooting at me from all angles, right?
Yeah, how can you not?
Totally honored. If it's true, fantastic. You know, huge if true, as they say.
I am going to start a bonfire in my backyard, and I'm going to invite the three of you to come over personally and sing it, and we'll do it together.
I will say this publicly. If it is true, and you guys do want to have a party, engagement party, wedding, birthday party, bar mitzvah, whatever, we're available. That's all I'm going to say.
I think we just broke news. I think we just broke some headline news. So on that, Teenage Dirtbag is obviously this thing. It is its own entity at this point, right? I mean, it's bigger than everyone combined. I've seen two sides of the people who have something that impactful that happens to shadow over much of the rest of them because it's just so big. I mean, it's so big, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And obviously with the social media and the current stuff with the TikTok stuff, was it 2 billion shares of some
It's
crazy?
up there. I stopped counting when I realized I didn't understand the numbers. But yeah, it's still doing a lot of work for itself. And we are so lucky. And there's only sort of one sort of real reason that we're very lucky. Had Teenage Dirtbag come from like an A&R guy or a manager telling me how to write a song, or a suggestion from somebody that was not exactly what I was feeling in my heart, if it came from a place of trying to protect an existing career as opposed to like not really caring if you have one or not, just trying to get out what's inside, then I think we would probably feel a little bit of a burden around its renewable resource, you know, because
It's more of a commercial than entity than a personal entity.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, in no degree of commercial success or obscurity, because if you're talking about Teenage Dirtbag, you have to talk about the years nobody really knew about it after it came out. Either one of those, neither extreme has ever made me feel regretful. And the only reason is because I wrote it alone. It came directly from me and my feelings about what it was like to grow up where I grew up in 1984, about the process of finding a musical identity in that environment, and about what it meant to be about to become an adult and face the consequences of your life having not conformed to whatever was being pushed back in the day, right? So here
I'm
you
very
are.
familiar. Like I said, East Coast, grew up same thing. When I saw Dirtbag, it's like I knew what Dirtbag was. It's kind of like there were a lot of colloquialisms, right? Like back east, we called out of work. I don't know if you called out or called in.
Yeah, you can call out. Yeah.
Yeah, we called out, but out here, like 90% of the country calls in. And I remember a conversation where like, hey, Joe called in. I'm like, what do you have to say? And they're like, you won't be in today. And it starts like, you know what I'm saying? So like Dirtbag to me meant exactly, I think, how you were depicting it. But it's hard to explain it if you had like, it's like a lived experience almost.
Right. So when I was writing the song, I knew where I was coming from with the history of, you know, the murder and there being a satanic panic. I was like, I grew up like in the epicenter, the ground zero of this American satanic panic movement. And I remember thinking, there has to be a way to infuse this narrative with that danger and that information without making it a historical piece or referencing the murder directly, and making it sort of lovable still, fictional as it is. You know, I went to a boys' Catholic high school that was an hour and a half away from my house. I didn't have a Noel or any of that. So it was a fantasy on some important level. And when I was finished with it, I felt like that was what made me happy about it, is that the danger was there, but the ugliness wasn't, you know, like the hint of something darker was maybe present, but so we got really lucky. We got really lucky with a song that made sense. It still makes sense to me. Is a bit of a challenge to play live because you got to pay attention to how whenever we have a new drummer, that's the one that takes the longest. I mean, we have some tricky progressive rock drum arrangements in our catalog.
Yeah, I can imagine that for sure.
But the one that everyone gets stuck on is Dirtbag, because we beat science that for 4 years before we had a drummer play it. We were working on a hip hop workstation called an MPC 2000.
Right.
And
I know those. Yeah.
We were moving snare drums and hi-hats like this until we felt that perfect Motown hip hop AC/DC Phil Rudd nexus, right? Where it's like, it made me feel like all those things at the same time. And then when the chorus comes in, it has to be like Metallica just joined the band kind of thing. But Metallica with Dinosaur Jr., you know.
Dinosaur Jr. reference. Look at this.
Yeah, that was guitar wise. I was trying to find the spot between like and Justice for All and Start Chopping by Dinosaur Jr. Those two. It was like that's guitar. That's the guitar that it needs, you know.
There we go. 10 minutes of Knocked Conscious. Mark, welcome to the show. Welcome back. How do you think it went?
I don't know. I thought he was.
I thought it was great.
Very
only as good as a
engaging
guest, to be
interview.
honest.
Yeah, very fun.
Lots of fun.
I got the Travis Kelce Swift name is Swiftra. Sounds like a trucking firm.
Well, I like it. Swiftra. We had Swift out here. They bought the Coyotes and then went bankrupt. Swiftra.
Yeah,
I was thinking Swell because like Swellzy, he could be like, you know, he's all buff.
Well, it's Mahomes and Maato.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and I do apologize. I did get that clip ahead of time, and I did try to censor some of the words. However, I missed a couple, so I do apologize if anybody heard a couple words. That was 100% on me. Mark did give me the warning ahead of time, so I don't think it's going to affect the scores. The scores are still coming in. Get your votes in now. Let's go to Maria, because I think I'm glitching out a little bit here. Maria, what did you think?
I thought it was great. No, I thought it was great, and I thought it was informative. I liked hearing him talk about the song and kind of the background on some of it. I enjoyed every bit of it. Yeah. And like I said, it's 8:48. It is way past my bedtime, and I was intrigued. So,
were you singing the song while you were listening?
There's an hour and 34 more minutes of that, so please feel free.
Yeah, it was really good. And I actually, funny enough, I Googled the lyrics because I hadn't heard the song in a long time. I'm like, I'm trying to remember all the lyrics. I Googled the lyrics to the song just because of that. So yeah, it was great. I enjoyed it.
And to Bob.
I'm a teenage dirtbag baby. Are we going to get a copyright?
Bob and I listen to it on our radios.
That was so exact. I'm sure you're going to get copyright strike. But anyway, no, I love the song, and it was very interesting. I thought you did a real good job. I mean, you think that the two of you had known each other for some time in the conversation because it was so comfortable, and it came across as very, something that was very honest and sincere between the two of you having this conversation, talking about the song, talking about what's happening. Very insightful in the music business. I mean, it's so easy for people to be negative with all these things, especially with other people's success. And it's really nice to have the positives come out there and talk, basically tell it how it is. These people are doing great jobs, and they're essentially creating an ecosystem for other people to thrive in. And so, you need to keep that in mind. And I think so many times people, go for the easy shot and say Swiftra. I'm going to try to get to sell that here tonight, rather than going for what's really happening, which is somebody who is, creating art and art with an ecosystem.
And Genesis.
Hey, you got a co-host.
She does.
I see that.
Did I lose you, Genesis? Can anybody hear?
No, I think she might be muted.
No, I don't see her muted. Well, we'll come back to you, Genesis. We'll see what's going on. But Mark, are you ready to see those scores?
I'm ready.
Let's see how you did. Let's see. This is the Not Conscious podcast, and 5.7 overall. And again, I really like the way that the scoring shows you all the votes and how they skewed. You can see your audio quality. Now you had a little bit of an advantage, pre-production and getting to edit it ahead of time. But you can see how those votes skewed. The host engaging a little bit higher than 5.5. Quality content right there at 5 again. Same with the content matching expectation. I mean, what you told us we were going to see, you delivered on. So we all saw that what we got was what you promised. And the production quality, all skewing over 5 with a 5.7 overall. Let's see how that word cloud did. Excuse me. We had 28 responses come in, engaging a couple Swifties out there. And sometimes the bigger the words, the more times people entered them. Somebody wrote Teenage Dirtbag. That was an easy one. Engaging host. Andre the Giant rules. Interesting. Listening to friends. The bleep noise. I made a little cut on there. Interview. Entertainment. Insightful. Pop culture. Intriguing. Funny. Drawn in is a great one. Great interview. So Mark, seeing these scores, seeing where you fell, and then seeing the word cloud, how do you feel, going through this process?
I feel great. I'm really glad that I got to do this, and I'm still chasing those audio demons. I think I fixed it now, but when I was talking to them, I should have gotten a little bump up there. But I'm just one of those audio hawks. But once again, it's just you just ask these people, and you just ask, and they're happy to share. It's unbelievable how welcome. You don't even have to be welcoming. You just have to be open, and people are willing to share their entire story. And people's stories are very interesting. It's funny because you mentioned I generally do not meet the people before I speak with them. I love meeting them through the show. Mm-hmm. I have actually a harder time knowing them than getting to know them. So it's like the fun part is meeting them. So it's like I like that. And thank you for pointing that out, Bob. I kind of make a focus about it being very leisurely and casual and much more camaraderie than confrontational or combative or anything.
And check out knockedconscious.com. That's where you can connect with Mark. We have Genesis at genesisamariskemp.net. And one last time to my judges, let's go around, make sure we connect with the judges, thank them for being here tonight. Maria Daniels, let's let you take it over. Maria, where can we connect and find with you? And thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Oh, it was fun. You can find me online at successfullychaotic.com or on social media, successfullychaotic.
Successfullychaotic.com. Maria will be joining us in 2 weeks. She'll be running Successfully Chaotic with, I saw in the chats, the Stacey Price will be here.
Yes, we will.
Comedian Stacey Price and podcast host with Maria Daniels at successfullychaotic.com and Successfully Chaotic on all the socials. And to Bob.
Hey, how's it going? So you can find me at staticradio.com or Static Radio, just about all of the socials. Static Radio.
Awesome. Check out Bob, staticradio.com, Maria at Successfully Chaotic, Genesis at GenesisAmarisKemp.net, and notconscious.com. That means it's time for that theme song.
We're asking